Hello friends, subscribers and new viewers of this channel. In this machine learning and large language model or LLM tutorial, we explain how to install RAGFlow engine and how to run it locally to create your knowledge base and to use Llama 3.1 and Ollama to retrieve answers from your local knowledge base. For those of you who are not familiar with RAGFlow, RAGFlow is an open source Retrieval-Augmented Generation or RAG engine that is based on deep document understanding and interpretation. It can be integrated with LLMs as well as with other machine learning and AI algorithms. After integrating it with LLMs, RAGFlow can provide meaningful answers to complex questions. Finally, as we will show in this video tutorial, you can build a powerful knowledge base by only using local text and data files stored on your computer. Okay, so here is a brief demonstration. Over here on my computer, I have this file that describes the life of Constantine the Great. Constantine the Great was one of the most famous Roman emperors. In fact, he was born in my home country. What is interesting about this document is that this document is stored on my local computer, and I will use this document as the knowledge base. Apart from this document, I can also use any other document that's stored on my computer. For example, I can use this document describing the life of another Roman emperor, or you can use a complete PDF book or any other document. You can even incorporate images. Then you can incorporate a combination of images and text. Then you can incorporate a combination of images, sound, and text. This is very powerful. Then what you can do, you can actually build a knowledge base. To show you the knowledge base, I created here a demo of a knowledge base. And over here, I only incorporated a single file. I can easily incorporate another file by clicking over here, locating my file, then clicking over here, and I can incorporate another file describing the life of another Roman emperor. So here it is. Then what I can do, I can simply press this button, and what will happen behind the scene, first of all, the text will be recognized, then LLMs and other algorithms such as embedding will analyze this document and they will build a knowledge base. Right now, the knowledge base will be a combination of both documents. Currently, since this is still processing and working in the background, I can only use the knowledge base that's based on this single document. Now over here in chat, I can ask the questions. For example, what was the birthplace of Constantine? And you can see now it's searching. Over here you can see in real time what's happening, and the process might be slower right now since in the background I'm also running parsing of another document. However, here it is. There are actually two notable historical figures named Constantine, so I'll provide information on both. Constantine the Great and the Roman emperor who ruled from 306 to 337 AD, and they will also give you the reference. That is, they will give you the document, and here it is. This is very, very powerful. Here we are combining the power of LLMs and the power of locally built database. Now think about variation of this project. If you have a complex engineering project involving thousands of documents, you can build a knowledge base and people can easily retrieve meaningful answers. However, these answers are not simple answers. They're based on the RAG principle. That is, they're based on deep understanding of the text. Now, let's see what's happening behind the scene. Over here on model providers, I can click over here to show the models that are running. I'm using actually Llama 3.1 with 8 billion parameters to support my chat. Then I'm using this algorithm to support text embedding. And over here you can also add some other algorithms. However, most of the important algorithms can be run through Ollama. As you can see over here, everything is running on my local computer, and I'm running this program, that is, I'm running RAGFlow on my web browser. Now, before I start with explanations, I need to mention the following. The installation procedure for RAGFlow is not simple, and you will need to reserve a significant amount of time, and you need to carefully watch this video and to implement all the steps. Honestly speaking, I struggled a lot in order to link Ollama to RAGFlow, and I had to overcome many problems. That is, I went to GitHub many times, searched different forums, such that I can connect Ollama with RAGFlow. However, in this video tutorial, I will clearly explain all the steps that you need to perform. But before I start with the explanations, I need to mention the following. I created a detailed manual that you can see over here, and that explains all the steps that you need to perform to install RAGFlow, Ollama, Llama 3.1, and an embeddings model. The final version of the manual will have, I think, around 8 pages. To create this manual, I had to go through a number of websites, through a number of GitHub pages, and by Googling the errors that appear when you try to install different components. First of all, if you just blindly follow this quick start tutorial for RAGFlow, you will experience several errors that I explain how to solve in this tutorial. Then, I also had to go through this GitHub page explaining the issues with the installation of RAGFlow. And there are a number of issues with setting the addresses, with running Ollama. Then, there are several other issues when you try to link Ollama, Llama, and when you try to run them in RAGFlow. Consequently, I resolved all these issues and I created this manual. A link to this manual will be provided in the description below this video tutorial. All the steps described in this manual will be also explained in this video tutorial, and you don't need to actually read this manual. However, for someone who wants to quickly go over the installation process, I will provide the manual. But before I start with explanations, I need to mention the following. Here is a brief disclaimer. The procedure for installing RAGFlow that I explained in this tutorial might involve changing some network settings and playing with the permissions to access some network ports. I don't take any legal or financial or moral responsibility or any responsibility for possible loss of data or external intrusion in your system through network channels that might stay open. In my case, the system was perfectly protected and all the port permissions are revoked. If you decide to implement the steps I explained in this tutorial, you're doing this on your own responsibility, and the assumption is that you know what you're doing and what are the possible consequences of not properly securing your network. That is, always make sure that you're on the safe side and make sure that your network is protected. So here are the prerequisites. First of all, you need to have Linux Ubuntu. We are currently running version 22.04. We did not test the installation on other Linux distributions. Then, Docker should be installed. We created a tutorial on how to install Docker engine in Linux Ubuntu. A link will be provided in the description below. Then you need to have a machine with at least 16 GB RAM, 4 CPU cores, and 50 GB of free disk space. Also, it might be good to have a relatively recent GPU. Currently, we are running RAGFlow on NVIDIA 3090 with 24 GB of VRAM memory. Okay, let's start. The first step is to set up the system, to download or clone the repository, to initialize it, and to start the server. Consequently, click here and search for terminal. Then click on terminal and let's resize this window. First, we need to set the maximum number of memory map areas a program or a process can have. The default value is given over here. However, RAGFlow uses Elasticsearch. To run Elasticsearch properly, we need to set the value to this value. Let's first check the default value. To do that, we need to execute this. And you can see that this is the default value that we need to increase. Now, we need to increase this value to this number. To do that, we simply need to execute this command. Here it is. And enter your password. However, next time you restart the computer, this value will be reset to the default value. Consequently, we need to change the corresponding configuration file to make sure that this value will be memorized. To edit the configuration file, first of all, we need to install gedit. I like gedit since it enables us to quickly edit different files. And after that, we need to run this command. And we need to edit this file. Now, over here at the end of this file, you simply can add this line and save this and close. Next time you reboot the system, these changes will be in effect. So next time you run a terminal, you will see that this value will be set. Let's just see this without rebooting. So let's again open a terminal. And let's see what will happen. Here it is. And let's verify what's the default value right now. And it should be increased. Yes, it's increased. Perfect. Let's continue. The next step is to create a base folder for our project. To do that, first of all, execute this to go to the home folder. Then type this to create another folder called codes. I will not execute this command since I already have the codes folder on my computer. Consequently, you need to execute that, and then after that, go to the codes folder, and inside of this folder, create another folder called RAGFlow, and this will be the base folder for our project. And navigate to that folder. Good. Now, you need to make sure that you have Git installed, and in addition you need to make sure that you have Git support for large-scale files. I assume that you already have Git on your system. If not, you can simply install it in Linux. However, you will also need Git support for large-scale files. This support is executed by running this command. Here it is. And then over here you need to enter the password. And then after that, here you of course you need to wait a little bit. And after that, you can run this. And this will install Git LFS, where LFS stands large file support. Then you need to initialize it. Here it is. Then we need to clone, or better to say to download this remote repository that implements RAGFlow. So let's do that. Okay, the next step is to build the pre-built Docker images and to start the server. First of all, you have to make sure that the RAGFlow version is properly set up in the environment. To see that, first of all, we need to verify what is the RAGFlow version online. Consequently, let's go to this website over here. Let's open a web browser. Let me just open it up. I don't know why it takes so much time to open. Open in a new window. Good. And let's go to this folder and let's see what is the current version. Now, if you click here on tags, you can see that this is the current version. Good. So let's go back to our terminal. Okay. First of all, we need to edit this file. Consequently, type this to go to this Docker folder. And inside of this Docker folder, you need to edit this environment file. And over here, you need to set the proper version. You can see here that currently it's development version. However, you should set this version over here. RAGFlow version should actually be this one. Save this, close, and let's continue. Now, here are the 3 critical steps that we need to perform. Next, here are the 3 crucial steps that we need to perform. First of all, let's make sure that we are in this Docker folder. Then after that, let's add the executive permissions to this file. This file is actually a script that will be executed, and over here is maybe the most important command. This will run everything. Now, you will most likely see an error running this. So let's investigate. It's good if you don't see an error. However, if you see an error, this is not the end of the world. I will explain how to fix that error. So let's run this and let's see. Here you need to be patient. Okay, and we got this error. Error response from daemon. Driver failed programming external connectivity on the endpoint RAGFlow server, and then you can see over here, failed to bind this port. Error starting user LAN proxy, and listen at TCP at this address. Bind address already in use. Okay, so how to fix this error? First of all, let's make sure that we have NetTools installed. Okay. Then, to list everything, let's run this. And over here, you can see what's happening in your system. What is the issue over here? The issue is with this Apache 2. And somehow this process is making some conflicts. We need to stop this service. So we need to run this sudo service apache stop. And let's run this, and now let's repeat the last step and it should work perfectly. And here it is. Perfect. Awesome. Congratulations. In your case, you might see some other thing over here, not Apache 2, but something else. And you need to stop this process since it's taking or creating conflict with another thing. Okay. So let's continue. The next step is to start the Docker server. To do that, we need to run this. And okay, you will see this nice screen that RAGFlow is running. And although if you see some warnings and errors, don't worry about that. The most important thing is that the server is running. Then we need to run RAGFlow in our web browser. To do that, simply copy this address, then open over here a new tab and paste this address and press enter, and voila, you will be automatically directed to this screen. Now you most likely don't have an account, so sign up. So I will just follow this procedure. I will sign up with one of my emails. Then over here I'll put a nickname. This is my nickname. And I will set the password that of course you cannot see, and I will click on continue, and you can see that I'm registered now and I can sign in, and voila, here I am. I'm over here in the system. Now over here you can see that there is a picture. This is not my picture. However, I will leave this picture as it is. The next step is to download and install Ollama, Llama 3.1 LLM, and an embedding model. First, we have to make sure that our computer allows for inbound connections on this port. To do that, we need to run this. Open a new terminal and run this. And enter your password. Now, to install Ollama in Linux Ubuntu, you simply need to run this line. Here it is. Now the downloading Ollama process started, and over here you need to be patient. This will take maybe 5 to 15 seconds. Okay, over here you can see that Ollama recognizes that I have a GPU. Perfect. Next, let's verify the installation. To do that, again, go to the web browser, open a new tab, and paste this localhost, and you can see the message Ollama is running. Perfect. This means that we have successfully installed Ollama. Next, we need to install these two models. For chat, we need to install Llama 3.1 with 8 billion parameters, and for embeddings, I need to install this model. Next, we need to find these models, and let's find them by going to this official website over here. Here's the website. So let's go here. This is Ollama library. And first of all, in the models, let's search for Llama 3.1. Let's click here. Then over here, we need to find the appropriate model. I need to click on 8B, and you can see the installation instructions. So copy this, go back to the web browser where you installed Ollama and run this. This command will actually download Llama 3.1 and it will install it on our system. So let's see the process. You can see that it's around 5 gigabytes. So be patient. After the model is downloaded and installed, you will be automatically redirected to this Ollama command prompt. However, exit this prompt since we will not be using Llama and Ollama from a terminal window. And the next step is to install the embeddings model. We need to find this model. So I will simply copy this thing, then I will go to this website. I will go one step back, another one, to go to the library, or we can just click this library, and over here I will search for this model, and hopefully we will be able to find it. Here it is. So click on this model, and over here you need to find the proper version. Here is the latest version, the one that I want. So copy this one, then go back over here, and then simply paste the command. This will actually only download this model. And the model is around 700 megabytes, so be patient. Okay. Next, we can list the models that we installed by typing Ollama list, and you will see the two models. And these are the two models that we need to incorporate in the RAGFlow. So let's learn how to do that. Next, go back to the RAGFlow graphics user interface in your web browser. Then, since you were probably here, click here, and then you need to click on model providers. Over here you can see all available models and models that you can add. You can see that currently this model is added. However, I realized that this model is actually not working. Consequently, I'm going to remove this model in order to avoid any errors. I noticed there are a number of errors coming up if you don't properly set up everything. And I will explain you the procedure that worked in my case. So click here on Show More Model and simply delete this one, 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 and that's it. We want to add Ollama. So click here on Add the Model. Now, first of all, we need to add the chat model. According to the official web page of RAGFlow and instructions, we need to do these steps. However, you will see that these steps will not work. However, let's just try them, and you should first try these officially suggested steps. First of all, go over here and make sure that you properly write the model name. So this model over here, go here, will be a chat model. So precisely type this model name. Next, you need to provide input base URL. To find that, go to this official web page, and this is the official URL. And here it is. And if you try to run this, you will get this error. Failed to access model Llama, error, connection refused. And however you try to do this, you will always get this error. And this is an issue. Consequently, you need to do something else. And to be honest, it took me probably a day to figure out how to do this. So here is the procedure that works. So I will open my terminal over here and my menu. So what's the idea over here? To fix this issue, you first of all need to edit this file. To do that, you need to execute this command. Now, I already edited this file and I entered these two lines. However, in your case, you will not see these two lines. So then make sure that these two lines are there. Okay, save this file, close it, and let's continue. Next, we need to reload systemd and restart the Ollama service. So first of all, type this, then type this. This will actually restart Ollama, and that's it. Simple as that. Now, we need to change a few things now. The next step is to figure out what is your address on your local network. And to do that, you need to run hostname-i, capital I, and this command as the first number will return your address. And the address should actually look like this: 192.168.0.10 or something similar. However, it will most likely be 192.168.0 and dot some number. And then you need to copy that address and to create a similar address to mine. And this port should be the same. Only you will have difference probably in this number. And this is all we need. Now go back to the RAGFlow, and over here you need to paste that address. Okay, now make sure that chat is selected and that the downloaded model name is correct, and click OK, and let's hope that this will work. Good, you see something happened, something good happened. Our system is able to recognize Ollama. Next, let's add the second model. So click here, don't use chat, use embedding, and do the same thing for the embedding model. It should be the same thing. The name of the model should actually go here, and then over here you need to put the address. So consequently, you need to write here, this should stay the same, and click OK. Good, now we are almost good to go. However, you need to here correct things. Click on System Model Settings, and you can see that this old model is still active, so we need for chat model to find our proper model. We need to find Ollama. So let's see where it is. This will take some time to find. Let us now carefully scroll all the way up, and I think I saw Llama or Ollama, so let's just be careful here. Here it is. Perfect. Good. And let's correct the embedding model, and you can see over here, if you go down, 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 this is the model we have, and click OK. This is very important to adjust. Let's continue. Next, let's build our knowledge base. To build our knowledge base, you need to find a document on your computer, a PDF file or text document, or even few pages if you have. However, in the interest of brevity, I'm just going to download from internet, from Wikipedia, an article. So let me just go to Google, for example, and let's search for Constantine the Great, for example. I will go to the Wikipedia page, and what I will do simply, here I will print it out. I'll press Ctrl P to print this page, and I will save it on my computer. I will save it on desktop. I will call it Constantine, and that's it. Over here, of course, you can take many files as you wish, right? However, in the interest of brevity of this tutorial, I will deal with only a single file. Good. Let me see this file on my desktop. Where it is? Here it is. Perfect. It's a PDF file. Awesome. So let's go back to RAGFlow, and let's start to build our knowledge base. So click here on the knowledge base, and click on Create Knowledge Base. I will call it History. Okay, and click on OK. Now here are very important things that you need to adjust. First of all, let's keep the knowledge base as history. Let's keep the language as English, permissions, only me, and this is very important. Make sure that this embedding model is active. This is very important. For the time being, we are just going to keep the default settings here. General, let's increase the number here to 218 and let's save this. Okay, good. This is very important. After you save this model, here you need to play with few things. First of all, you need to add files. And to add files, click here, click on Local Files, then click here. My file is on the desktop, and here is Constantine. Click on Open, click OK, and now the file will be added. However, this is not the end of the story. You need to click here to start parsing and processing this file. Now what will happen behind the scene? You will parse this file, then what will happen? There will be some character recognition. You will need to recognize the text. Then the LLM and other algorithms will analyze this text and make the conclusions, right? And they will kind of format this in their own form such that you can later on use it. And of course, over here you can add some other files. For example, you can add a file, you can add the book, you can even add images. However, in this video tutorial, I didn't explain how to install an algorithm that will actually process an image. We will do that in our next video tutorials. So over here you need to be patient. This will take maybe even 5 minutes. After some time you will see that the parsing status is success and you can continue. Now over here you can test the retrieval testing. So for example, we can test, for example, this thing, Constantine, type this and let's see testing, will it work? And you can see that actually it works. You can see some hybrid similarity score, term similarity, etc. Over here you need to click on configuration and you cannot change the embedding model. This will stay fixed. However, you can change the token number and you can save this. Good. Then let's proceed with the chat. Here click on chat and you need to create an assistant. So click on create an assistant. I will call this assistant Alexander's assistant. And over here you can choose several things. You can set an opener. I will just keep the default settings, and here it's very important to select the knowledge bases. We will select the knowledge base that we just created, so click on history and click OK. However, you can still edit a few things. I made an error, so click on edit. Here on prompt engine, don't change anything. On model settings, you will see that the model is Llama 3.18b, and make sure that this is OK and click OK. Now over here, just type hello once and you can see it searching. This is good. We don't have any conversation history yet. This is perfect. This means that it's actually working. So let's ask a question. For example, let's look into our text and let's try to find something tricky. So for example, let's ask something like this. Let's see, Constantine received a formal education as Diocletian's court, where he learned Latin language, Greek, and philosophy. Okay, let's ask this. Did Constantine, let me just not misspell, Constantine learn Greek and philosophy? Even if you make a spelling error, I think this algorithm is very robust. So let me see, I think maybe I'm misspelling this name, however, it doesn't matter. So let's try to ask. Okay, and you can see the answer. This is amazing. he learned some Greek, as you can see over here. As for philosophy, there are indications that Constantine had some exposure to philosophy, and this is awesome. So I made an error in spelling philosophy. Okay, let's ask another question. For example, let's ask something like this. When did Constantine become an emperor? And you can see in 293. Perfect, this is awesome. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.